Hello everyone. So we're going to do another video update here. To be quite honest, there are just so many things I could talk about with the weather tonight. You have this current system that I'm pointing out to you on the water vapor imagery here. The darker green and brighter blues that are showing up, that is really potent moisture being drawn in from the Gulf due to this low-level jet, again, that I was showing you yesterday. You have your center of low pressure up here. There's a lot of spin. The flow around it, you have a lot of vorticity. That's what we call spin in the atmosphere. And as a result, you're getting an area of strong winds in the lower levels of the atmosphere. We call that the low-level jet. Some of these winds, again, up into these areas here are up to 50 to 60, maybe even 70 knots. But it's more potent up here, but as you come back down here, notice the pattern of winds. The arrows, if you look really closely, are coming out of the southwest. So what that means is that the wind pattern associated with this upper level disturbance is pulling moisture out of the Gulf and throwing it across the south and then up across the upper Midwest over here. So right now there's a pretty decent line of thunderstorms going on across this entire area, and I will show you that on the radar. You have drenching storms down here because that's where the moisture is most prevalent. Down in Louisiana and Mississippi, there's drenching thunderstorms down there right now. And then as you get up here, you still have some gusty storms up across Illinois and Indiana and Kentucky and eastern portions of Iowa and I think that's Iowa. No, that's Missouri. And Arkansas. So these areas are seeing gusty thunderstorms and then drenching storms down in there. Looking back at our satellite imagery, your center of low pressure is right back up in here across northwestern Illinois, probably very close to Chicago actually. And so here you see that flow. You could even see the moisture here. You could see these green areas are moving to the northeast, which means moisture is being drawn in from the Gulf. You have really drenching storms down here. Some of that moisture is making it all the way up into here. So you have some storms, some gusty storms with possibly some heavy rain back up in here as well. And I think you still might have a threat of damaging winds across the upper portion of the Ohio Valley and areas further west and south, Kentucky and Tennessee. I think you still have a threat of some damaging winds throughout the rest of the night here. So this is this potent system. And then to the north, you have snow. They're on the northern end of this. If you take a look at the radar here, so again you can see you have your line of storms extending all the way back up into Ohio and then coming back down across Mississippi and Louisiana, and then down here you can see all these reds down to Louisiana and Mississippi. This is where your heavier downpours are going to be with your thunderstorms. This is current radar. Then extending back up, you have some weaker storms, but this line I think is still capable of producing gusty winds in excess of 40 miles per hour, maybe 50 as it moves east across Tennessee. Kentucky, you could be looking at some gusty winds as well. It kind of falls apart as you get up into here, but actually there's a pretty decent band of storms up in northwestern Pennsylvania right now and eastern Ohio there. You're going to have to watch out there. Then you have another line of storms back across Illinois, Missouri, southeastern Missouri, then extending back across Arkansas and into eastern Oklahoma. You have some more potent storms back here as well. Conditions are still favorable with the low-level jet is in place over here with this disturbance that we're looking at on our satellite here. See, this is actually the line of storms right here. This is that moisture. You can see they're actually forming right now. You have tropical moisture coming in from the Pacific Ocean as well, so that's probably what's fueling this line of storms to develop as well here. Plus, you have a lot of spin in the atmosphere, so that creates a lot of instability. The low-level jet's creating instability, so you get a lot of lift in the atmosphere, and bam, you got a line of storms forming across this area here. So it looks like some of these storms are pretty strong. I would say gusty winds up to 50 miles per hour with these. Maybe some hail. It's late at night, so I don't know if it'll be big, but definitely a chance of some hail. I think it's really too late to see tornadoes, but I wouldn't rule out an isolated tornado or two again, because the low-level jet has been really enhancing spin up in the atmosphere. It's been causing some storms to rotate And we did get a couple of tornadoes across this area that I outlined in my video last night. We got a couple of tornadoes. So back in here you have stronger gusty storms across this area. In the northern part here, again, stronger gusty storms. And then back across southern Louisiana, Mississippi, and western parts of Alabama, you have some drenching storms rather than severe storms. So that's with this current system here. And I think that threat is going to continue. It's going to spread east across, I think this line is going to pose a threat across western Kentucky, western Tennessee, if it makes it that far. Definitely across Arkansas here, maybe into northwestern portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, excuse me. Throughout the rest of the night, I think this line is going to pose a threat, also extending east into Indiana. I don't know if it'll make it to Ohio. We'll have to see it. I don't think it makes it that far. I think your best dynamics are back in here. And so then you have another area of storms down in southern Arkansas that we're also going to have to watch. So again, gusty winds are going to be the main threat, I believe, especially with the low-level jet. Maybe an isolated tornado or two. Maybe. Okay, so those are your current conditions associated with this system. Okay? Tomorrow's threat is going to come from this system back here across the upper plains over here and across New Mexico. Your shortwave is actually, it extends. Your trough is back in here right now. It extends all the way back down across Nevada and what is this state here? Utah, and then back up into Idaho and Wyoming here. So this is where your shortwave is right now. Your area, it's going to develop an area of low pressure, and that's going to this disturbance all and back in here is going to move east throughout the night, and then by tomorrow it's going to be picking up moisture from the Gulf, moisture from the Pacific. Warm air back here again. This trough becomes negatively tilted, so you get a southwest flow in front of it. So that brings in warm air, drier air on the back. So what happens when dry and moist air combine? You get thunderstorms to develop. And there are going to be dynamics in place, especially tomorrow across eastern Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, southern Arkansas, and western Louisiana. I think, well, I'll put all of Louisiana in this threat. I'll include Shreveport. You're going to be in that. I will pull up a city map and get a little more specific, but New Orleans, I think you escape the main severe weather threat. You're definitely going to be in it tomorrow, but I think the best dynamics are to your west and north, especially eastern Texas and western Louisiana, though. That area is primed tomorrow to see some pretty severe storms, I would think. I think there's a threat of some hail, definitely some damaging winds, some heavy rain as well. And maybe an isolated tornado or two. Now, today's severe weather threat was a lot more potent because you had the really strong low-level jet that was associated with this. The models are not really showing a low-level jet associated with this next system, at least very strong, so I think that's going to limit your severe weather threat. However, what there is going to be a lot of is, well, here's your current low-level jet. Hold on, I'm looking for something here. I don't know if I still have it up. No, I don't. Well, you know what, before I get to that, let's talk about where this is going to set up. So, this is, currently, hold on. So, currently, this is what we have. This is your current system moving across, again on the satellite. So that system is this whole thing right here. That is what this is. Okay, so this is your current storm system that I showed you on the water vapor imagery. Now coming back into here, what do you have by tomorrow morning? You have this energy here, this shortwave coming through, then you have another piece of energy on the bottom. And what are these going to do? They're going to combine, and now you've got a pretty potent upper level disturbance here. Okay, and it's, again, it's kind of positively tilted. Sorry, not negative. I said negative earlier. It's positively tilted. So the flow is going to be bringing in moisture from the Pacific. Out ahead of it, you're going to get moisture coming in from the Gulf. And if you look at your precipitation map, you can see some precipitation starting to spawn up across eastern Texas. Now, early Friday morning, you still have this up here, and that's dragging a cold front across. So you're still going to have a line of showers and thunderstorms extending across the eastern seaboard here going into tomorrow. So I'll get to that later in the video or in the next video, but we're going to focus on this piece of energy right here, which if you look at your satellite once again, this is the piece of energy we're looking at for tomorrow back in here. And then here it is again on the models. Okay? Right here. So this piece of energy is going to move east, okay? So here it is. We're still, we're on Friday evening now. And, you know, it's not as potent as the other shortwave was that moved through today, at least yet. So if you keep going here, look, it actually starts to strengthen a little bit. It starts to consolidate a little bit more by Saturday. And so we're also going to be watching the threat for severe weather on Saturday as this moves east. See, look at that. It's becoming really potent now. This is actually going to turn into quite a bit of a storm. So now we're on Saturday evening. This is your short wave. It's taking in a ton of Gulf moisture, and that's really strengthening it. So you're going to have a severe weather threat across the eastern seaboard here on Saturday. And then as this area of low pressure moves up to the north, you're going to have a major rainstorm up here. Okay, so that's what you're looking at. Now, on Friday, we're going to talk about the severe weather threat, though. So you saw the piece of energy that's going to be causing the severe weather. And here it is. This is at 1 p.m. tomorrow. This is your short wave that's going to be moving through. This is the vorticity map that's going to be moving to the east. So on the eastern side of this, you're going to have to watch out for some severe weather tomorrow. Okay? So this is your pretty potent wave. You can see that the flow in such a way, the flow is bringing up moisture here into the storm. You got Pacific moisture coming into it from both sides here. And then since this is positively tilted, the flow out ahead of it is southwest, so Gulf moisture is coming in. Now, I did tell you that the low-level jet is not going to be that big associated with this, so we're not even going to bother looking at that map. But tomorrow, this is valid tomorrow morning. I want to go a little bit further. By 1 p.m. tomorrow, your Vortmax. Did I keep it? Alright, so this is where your Vortmax is. Now, out ahead of that, take a look at this. This is all instability. This is CAPE. It's what we call convective available potential energy. And this is a measure of the amount of instability that's going to be present in the atmosphere. So you have that southwesterly flow, so you're going to have some warm temperatures across Louisiana, eastern Texas, southern Alabama, Arkansas, excuse me again, I cannot get these states right, southeastern Oklahoma. And now if you look at your red, that's CAPE values up to 3,000. That's really pretty intense. So 2,500 to 3,000 joules per kilogram here across eastern Texas, extending back into southwestern Louisiana. And then you have values of up to 1,000 to 2,000, extending back across Arkansas and western portions of Alabama by Friday afternoon. And if you go even further, again, this is actually the same thing, sorry. Go even further, this actually extends eastward through Friday evening, so instability is going to be picking up, especially across eastern Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. I think that's your main threat for severe weather tomorrow with this piece of energy coming in. Okay? Now up here, this is your upper level disturbance that's going to combine with this as we head into the weekend. And that's what's going to create a big storm. This northern piece of energy coming together with this southern piece of energy, the southern shortwave. So we're going to get a big storm this weekend because of that. We'll be talking more about that in a video tomorrow. Alright, next video I go over threat area.